Okay, thank you both for joining me. You just got done talking about passive authentication. Can you explain what that is a little bit?
Yeah, in the general scheme of things, passive authentication is where an authentication happens in the background of a natural interaction. So think about when your friend or family member walks in the door. You see their face, you hear them talk, you know who they are. As opposed to the other side of the story, which is active authentication, where you've got to take an active role in verifying your identity, which means like walking into a branch and putting your hand in your pocket and taking your ID, or stopping a request and answering a series of personal questions to prove who you are. So passive authentication, in our professional opinion, helps enable a better experience, a much more convenient experience, and in a contact center scenario can help save tons of time annually.
As we've been here this week at the conference, we're hearing a lot about AI and the things that it can do. And now you're hearing about how it can clone voices. What kind of concerns does that bring up with this passive authentication method?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new threat that has been popularized over the past roughly about a year now, and it's a threat to agents, a threat to technologies like ours. But based on our analysis and data that we've looked at, we firmly believe that agents are better protected with the support of a technology like ours as opposed to going at it alone. And Pete has, at TruWest Credit Union, has been doing some experimentation around it and can share a bit more light.
Sure. So what we've been doing is we are putting ourselves in the mindset of a hacker, trying to authenticate a voice so that we can attempt to authenticate into the system and pretend that we are that person. So what we did is we pretended we were a low-level hacker. We found some tools online that we can clone a voice ID and then use that voice to try to authenticate. With both platforms that we used, we failed, which is great, right? We want to fail. We want to make sure that that these low-level hackers cannot get authenticated so that they can do bad things for with our members' money. So now what we are doing is putting ourselves in the shoes of higher-level, more advanced developers that take some time, use more advanced technology to clone a voice and authenticate into the system. The first few attempts, unfortunately, they did not pass. It did not fail because the voice was a little low. So what they are doing now is recreating those voices, and within the next month or so, we are going to reattempt and try to clone that voice and try to see if we can authenticate. The goal is to fail again, but even if we don't fail, meaning we authenticated, we will be able to learn from it and help Illuma Labs build and make the system stronger for our members and for our staff.
And I guess when you talked about the efficiencies that it can bring in and the pass failure rate and whatnot, but from the member perspective, they must like it. It's not that Q&A part where you're going through 7 or 8 questions to figure out who you are, but the members, they must kind of give them peace of mind and a little bit more friction, less friction.
Yes. For in our case, what we found is, like you said, it's saving our members time, and it's also saving our staff time. We calculated that we are now saving about 2,000 hours a year in not having to ask all these questions to our members. Our members are happier because they don't have to answer these questions every single time. They just talk just as normal, present themselves, let us know what they're talking about, and for our contact center agent staff, it lights up saying they authenticated, and off they go. We know it's secure. We know that they are who they say they are, and everybody's happier on both sides of the table.
Okay, thank you both for chatting with us today.